Every NBA fan knows about the shot in 2016. We know Kawhi in the corner, Ray Allen in the corner, Steph from the logo, Dame waving goodbye. But for every iconic three that's lived on in memes and in highlight reels, there's another shot, just as clutch, just as game-changing, that time, and even TikTok, has forgotten. This is for the new generation of NBA fans, for the ones who missed the grind before League Pass, for the fans who know the legends, but not how they became legends. Let's rewind the clock and relive the legendary moments, even if history forgot. These are the biggest shots that new NBA fans don't remember. Number 10. Gilbert Arenas silences Chicago. Game 5, 2005 playoffs. There was a time, believe it or not, when the Washington Wizards were a problem. And Gilbert Arenas, he wasn't just a scorer, he was cold-blooded. In 2005, the Bulls took the first 2 games of their first round series. It looked like business as usual, but the Wizards stormed back, Arenas leading the charge. Game 5. Series tied 2-2. The Chicago crowd is ready to ignite. And with the game on the line, Agent Zero stepped into the moment. A 30-footer, ice in his veins.
Here's Arenas, this for the win. Yes! It's over! The Wizards have defeated the Bulls!
And just like that, Washington took control of the series. They'd go on to win Game 6 and take the dub. To today's fans, the Wizards are a punchline. But in 2005, they had a closer, and his name was Gilbert Arenas. Number 9. Jeremy Lin waves off Kobe and delivers. Everyone remembers Linsanity, the sudden, surreal rise of Jeremy Lin in New York. But after the hype faded, so did the spotlight. By the time he landed in Los Angeles, most people had stopped watching. In a city built on legends, Lin found himself sharing the court with the one and only Kobe Bryant. And in a game against the Clippers, with the clock winding down and the game in the balance, Kobe called for the ball, but Jeremy Lin said no. He waved off the Black Mamba and made the shot anyway.
Shot clock at 2, Lin has to heave and buries it. Line with a chance to tie as we take another look at Lin's shot.
It didn't change the league. It didn't break the internet. But for one moment, Jeremy Lin reminded everyone that he was still that guy. Number 8. LeBron saves the Cavs at the buzzer. Before the block, before the return, there was this shot. In the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavaliers were reeling. They just dropped Game 1 at home to Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic, and now Game 2 was seconds from slipping away. 1 second, down 2, and everything, the season, the dream, the city, hanging in the balance. LeBron caught, turned, launched, and buried it.
Gets it to LeBron for 3 for the win. Yes! LeBron James!
It didn't win the series, but in that moment it was everything. A shot so clutch, so pure, it felt like destiny. And for Cleveland, it meant they still had hope. Number 7. The Ben Simmons 3 that broke the internet. Some shots make history. Others just break the algorithm. For 3 long years, the NBA world waited. Teammates waited. Fans waited. The entire internet waited. And then it happened. Ben Simmons. From deep to the bottom of the net.
Average three-point shooter there. Simmons. Yes! He did it! Ben Simmons! Holy man!
It wasn't the playoffs. It wasn't a buzzer beater. But it might have been the loudest three-pointer of the season. Not for what it meant, but for who it came from. Sometimes, the biggest shots are the ones we never thought we'd see. Number 6. Paul Pierce versus Al Harrington, the neighborhood ISO showdown. Sometimes the NBA feels less like an official league and more like a neighborhood court. With the game slowed down, it was one-on-one. No help. Just Paul Pierce and Al Harrington jawing at each other like it was Rucker Park. Harrington dared him. Pierce smiled and then let it rip and drained it in his face.
Pierce pulls up for a three. That's what I've got.
You can talk all you want, but there's a reason they called him the truth. Number 5. Allen Iverson. 2001 Finals, Game 1. It's one of the coldest moments in NBA history, and not just because of the shot. In Game 1 of the 2001 Finals, Allen Iverson walked into Staples Center like it was his city. The Lakers were undefeated in the playoffs thus far. A sweep felt inevitable. But AI had different plans. Late in overtime, with the Sixers clinging to a narrow lead, Iverson sized up Tyronn Lue, pulled up and drilled a jumper from the wing.
Go, watch the baseline, fade away, yes! He's way too good! He steps around Lue!
Lue, off balance, hits the ground after the contest. Then came the moment that froze time. The step over. It was more than a highlight. It was a symbol of defiance, of grit, of a 6-foot guard who refused to back down from the league's most dominant dynasty. It wasn't just a bucket, it was a battle cry, and it stamped Iverson into finals folklore forever. Number 4. Ray Allen, 2001 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 6. Long before the corner 3 in Miami turned him into a finals legend, Ray Allen was already a cold-blooded closer. In the 2001 Eastern Conference Finals, his Milwaukee Bucks were fighting to stay alive against Allen Iverson's Sixers. Down 3-2 in the series, Game 6 became a make-or-break moment, and Ray Allen delivered. He exploded for 41 points that night, but no bucket hit harder than his deep 3 late in the fourth. A dagger from way beyond the arc that silenced the Sixers' run and forced a Game 7.
Get some action from right here. A lot of dribbling and grenade. Ray Allen drops in another big shot. 8 3-point field goals for Ray Allen.
Before the bright lights of South Beach, before the super team, Ray Allen was already building his legacy. And this shot? Just one more reminder that greatness doesn't begin with rings. It begins with moments like this. Number 3. Again, Ray Allen in the 2013 NBA Finals, Game 6. Now I know y'all actually probably do remember this one, but some shots are so big and so iconic that they can't be ignored on a countdown like this. Game 6, 2013 NBA Finals. The Miami Heat were seconds away from elimination. Down 3, the Spurs had already started roping off the court, preparing to celebrate a championship. But Ray Allen had other plans. Chris Bosh snagged the rebound, kicked it to the corner, and in one fluid motion, backpedaling without ever looking down, Allen let it fly. Splash.
Back out to Allen, his three-pointer, bang!
With 5.2 seconds left on the clock and a tie game, the building erupted. Fans who had already left the arena were trying to get back in. And just like that, the Heat had a second life. Miami would go on to win in overtime and take the series in Game 7. But none of it happens without Ray Allen's legendary shot. A single moment that rewrote the ending for the Heat, for LeBron, and for Ray Allen's legacy as one of the coldest shooters ever. Number 2. Michael Jordan, 1989 first round, Game 5. Before he was the GOAT, before the rings, the legacy, and the sneaker empire, there was this shot. It was 1989, first round of the playoffs, Game 5. The Chicago Bulls were on the verge of elimination, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were just one stop away from sending Michael Jordan home early. A loss here wouldn't just end a season, it could have rewritten the trajectory of MJ's entire career. But then, he rose. The shot. That's all you need to say.
Jordan with 2 seconds to go, puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for
A mid-range dagger over Craig Elo that stamped Jordan's legend into playoff lore and signaled the rise of something greater. It wasn't a finals game. It wasn't for a championship. But in that moment, it meant everything. Number 1. Steph Curry's first three. The beginning of a revolution. Every legend has a beginning. And this was the first spark. We know him now as the greatest shooter in NBA history. The man who redefined spacing, shattered records, and made the three-pointer the most feared weapon in basketball. But it didn't start with logo shots or viral heat checks. It started right here, in the second game of his rookie season in the second quarter versus the Phoenix Suns. A simple jumper from beyond the arc that would go on to change the entire game.
Well, you really do. As Curry hits again. Now that's what they were talking about.
Since that moment, Steph Curry has made over 3,700 more threes and counting. But this was the first, and nobody knew what was coming. Sometimes, history doesn't announce itself. It just starts.
Yeah, I only shot 1 3 my very first game. That was the second game. I saw the highlight of the play. It was a little pin in. He threw a great pass and knocked it down. But the first of many, so.
The biggest shots aren't always the ones they show in highlight reels. Sometimes it's the forgotten daggers, the first sparks, the moments that shaped legacies, even if the world moved on. If you made it this far, thank you for taking the trip through time with us. Drop a comment. Which of these did you forget? Or which one still gives you chills? And look, if you loved this countdown, you've got to see our deep dive into the most important threes in NBA history. The shots that didn't just win games, they changed basketball forever. Or for something more ice cold, check out how clutch is Tyrese Halliburton really. Let's explore the story of how he went from overrated to overhated in just a couple of months. This is 3-Point Revolution, and around here, the story is always deeper than the highlight.